Hi, it's Andy, and I'm here today in the replica of the conference room here at the Charlottetown Conference here in Charlottetown. And but let me clear up a few things first of all on our passports. First of all, on page 29, that kid that's playing hockey, that's not a hockey player. He was never a hockey player. That's James Haley. He's from Vorlage. He was a K2 when they took that picture. And in this picture, Champlain's got his astrolabe upside down. I know that for a fact. Not that I was there when they took the picture, but I've been there. And this is not a picture of this conference room. This is a picture of the Fathers of Confederation at the Quebec Conference. Not only is it not the original picture, that burnt down in 1916, but when George Diefenbaker was Prime Minister, he had himself photoshopped into the picture. But this nonsense about birthplace of Confederation in Prince Edward Island, Charlottetown, it's not really right. So the Charlottetown Conference was 1863, and that was more like prom night. PEI was here. They invited New Brunswick and Nova Scotia, and then Ontario, Quebec crashed the party with something like 800 bottles of champagne, and they had a lot of fun. Stuff happened. Anyway, they continued to the Quebec Conference, except Prince Edward Island said, no, we're staying home. We've got a great economy. We've got the Grand Funk Railroad that's coming along, and we don't really need Confederation. So they opted not to go, and sure enough, when Confederation was signed in 1867 in London, Prince Edward Island was nowhere to be seen. Then, acquisition spree. Canada went on an acquisition spree. 1870, they did a secondary offering and they picked up British Columbia. Then in 1871, Rupert's Land, which is Northwest Territories, they did a cash deal, cash for land as an asset purchase. And then 1871 again, Manitoba, more sophisticated transaction, but again, it was a stock swap. And Manitoba came on board. Then 1873, that's when things started to happen because the railway was not doing poorly, the Grand Funk Railroad. And a band of Americans, an American band, were trying to come in and purchase it. And Prince Edward Island said, no, we got to get going on this. So here, so by this time, the boys in Toronto had put together some interesting financing packages. And what they did was they did a debt assumption on the railroad, and they did an asset purchase of all the land, then sold it back to the landowners. And but then what sealed the deal was the promise of a ferry under the Christmas tree and the promise of the railroad under the Christmas tree, and that's how Confederation. And in 1873, Prince Edward Island's in there. So that's not the birthplace. That's like the 6th, 7th birthday party. They were way late to the party. So this other nonsense, you don't need to argue it. I'm going to go sit up in that chair for a little while where they're going to say Sir John Hay was, but that wasn't his chair. And I'll just sit there for a little bit until that nice lady at the end asks me to leave like she did the last time. I'm kind of hoping she's still occupied with those people at the other end and won't come down and force my hand right now. Anyway, you have a good day. There's a little bit of history.